In this video, we're going to go over how to make black agar. If you're new to agar, there are a lot of reasons why you should learn it and start using it. Agar is a great way to germinate spores while simultaneously checking for contamination before inoculating your grain spawn. Agar is also used for isolating genetics in your mushroom cultures to help you achieve those massive flushes that we all dream about. There are many ways to make agar, as well as many color options to choose from. However, when it comes to agar dishes, black agar is my personal favorite. When mycelium grows out on black agar, it's very visible. The sectors in the mycelium tissue are very pronounced and very easy to distinguish. This makes isolating genetics super simple and leads us to that beautiful monoculture that we all make so many transfers to achieve. I personally love black agar. It just looks cool. It's like bold, fluffy mycelium floating in the darkness of outer space. I'm Spirit Veggie, and welcome to Entheogen Insight. The ingredients we'll be using in this tech are light malt extract, agar powder, activated charcoal, and filtered water. There are a couple of tools you will need, like a quart-sized mason jar or media bottle, a pressure cooker, a scale and a cup to weigh out your ingredients, a still air box, and your agar dishes of choice. In this video, you will see me using a magnetic stirrer to mix my ingredients. This tool isn't mandatory, but if you have an extra $30 laying around, I highly recommend adding it to your toolbox. It speeds up the process and makes mixing very simple. Start by measuring out 500 milliliters of filtered water and place it on your stove. You want the water to be really hot when you add it to your dry ingredients. As your water heats up, use your scale and cup and weigh out 10 grams of agar and add it to your jar. Then weigh out 10 grams of light malt extract and add it to your jar. Next, you're going to add 2.5 tablespoons of activated charcoal to your jar. This is what gives the agar that deep black color. Once your 500 milliliters of hot water is ready, add it to your jar. You want the water to be really hot so it will dissolve everything in the jar and prevent the agar from solidifying. Now you need to mix the ingredients till everything is dissolved and blended well. I'm using my magnetic stirrer, but if you don't have one, you can use a spoon or a chopstick. Once everything is mixed, place the lid on your jar loosely. You don't want the lid to be tight because this can cause your jar to break in the pressure cooker. If you're using a mason jar, you will want to use the lid upside down. This will prevent the lid from sealing when you pressure cook it. With your lid loosely on the jar, cover the lid with foil. This is going to prevent steam from working its way under the loose lid and going into your jar. Place the jar in your pressure cooker and cook the jar at 15 psi for 40 minutes. Don't start the 40-minute timer until the cooker reaches 15 psi. After 40 minutes, turn off your stove and release the steam manually. After the pressure is released, remove your jar and allow it to cool. This can take up to an hour, depending on how warm or cold it is in your house. You want the jar to be cool enough to handle without burning your hands when you hold it, but you don't want the jar so cool that the agar starts to solidify. Keep checking on it until it's ready to pour. While the jar is cooling, take this time to set up your still air box. Wipe out your still air box with alcohol and Lysol and prep your agar dishes. Don't open your agar dishes until it's time to pour them. After your jar is cool enough to handle, place it in your still air box and set up some agar dishes. I like to do a stack of 3 or 4 at a time. I pour the bottom dish first and I work my way up the stack. Pour enough agar to coat the bottom of the dish. Over time, you will get better at knowing exactly how much to pour. You want the agar layer to be thick enough so it won't dry out, but you don't want it too thick so that way the mycelium has room to grow. As I pour my dishes, I stack them on top of each other. This will prevent condensation on the lid of your dish. After you pour all your dishes, let them solidify in the still air box. This process won't take long, usually about 30 minutes. After they've solidified, I like to wrap each disc with parafilm for storage until I'm ready to use them. Your black agar is now ready to use. I hope you found this video useful and you get as much joy out of your black agar dishes as I do. I'll post links to everything that I use below to make getting started as simple as possible. I appreciate the support, and please consider subscribing to Entheogen Insight here on YouTube to keep up with all the techs and tutorials I have coming your way. I'm Spirit Veggie, best wishes, stay safe, and keep exploring.